Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Tuesday, May 8th, 2018, and you're watching WGAN-TV live at 5. Our guest today is Rela CEO Mike Land. Hey Mike, good to see you.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
You bet. Good to have you back on the show. Today is almost really what we would describe as part 2 of Rela for photographers. If you haven't seen the first show, we'll post that in the We Get Around Network Forum. And then we'll also post a recording of today's show. So it's really kind of a companion piece. Mike was kind enough to give us a deep dive demo of the entire Rela platform, I want to say a couple months ago. And then today, I think, Mike, we're going to cover a couple things. It's kind of the onboarding process for a photographer with Rela. Does that sound?
That's exactly right. Yep.
Right. Yeah. And then Mike's also going to cover, since we visited last, Rela has introduced a brochure generator, and it's very exciting because for a lot of reasons. Mike will get into that as well. And then if you stay with us towards the end of the program, we're going to have 2 different special offers for you. One, for example, will be for photographers to get the free use of Rela for 6 months, and stay with us and we'll explain how to get that and who is eligible for that. So Mike, even before, let's just do maybe a couple sentences, a big picture to explain Rela for those that haven't seen part 1, and then we'll do this deep dive specifically for photographers meets Rela.
Okay. So Rela is a platform that allows real estate professionals to create all of their digital marketing materials to help market their listings. We also have the brochure tool, which you mentioned. So now we're moving into the print material side. And really, we're there to help agents stand out with their marketing efforts. And so with our photographer platform, we allow photographers to develop these marketing materials for these agents. So when you're shooting or you're scanning a home, you can really easily deliver the photos in a beautiful format with a single property website and brochures, and really streamline your workflow and add extra value to the services that you're offering.
Terrific. So for now on, we're going to assume that you all have caught up. You've watched part 1 of WGAN-TV live at 5 that we did a few months ago with Mike. And Mike, let's give us the deep dive. I think what we're talking about is, okay, you're a photographer, you're ready to get going. Hand walk me through slowly how I go through the onboard process for myself, and then start to invite my clients to participate in the platform as well.
Sure. So I'm going to share my screen and we're actually going to walk through it. The process doesn't take very long, but it is pretty important when you're setting up your account as a photographer to get these steps taken care of before you start actually using Rela as part of your services. The main idea with the photographer platform is that we white label the platform for you. So you're able to connect it to your company domain, and you're able to offer this as a product or a service that's yours. So your customers won't see any Rela branding. They're only going to see your branding. And again, that's there to add that extra value to the services that you're offering. So can you see my screen, Dan?
Not yet.
Okay, let's get this going.
And the Mike is on his website for Rela. It's www.relahq.com. That's relahq.com.
Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna walk from start to finish as if you're just registering, and then I'm going to show you the steps that you need to get taken care of before you really start ready to use this with your customers. So really easy. Just go ahead and click that sign up button. You're going to enter your information here. And you click that create free account. Once you're past the initial registration form, excuse me, once you're past the initial registration form, you'll see this welcome to Rela overlay. Just choose that you're a photographer. And that's going to activate your photographer trial plan. So let's just fill out our basic company information here. And click activate trial. Let's do enter a valid company real estate. Okay. Make sure all this information is valid here. Okay, so once you've filled that out, you have two options to get started, but you'll see this account setup banner at the top here. And this is telling you that there's a couple steps with your general account setup on the white label side that need to be completed. You can click that banner and you'll see what those steps are here. So you can click each of these and the system will walk you through to make sure that you've completed these steps. So let's do the easy one, company details. So again, just fill out your company information here. Now this information will show up for your customers eventually when they log in. So it's important that you use your correct contact information. And just hit save. And you'll see that that item's checked off the list here. So this next step, logo and branding, that's an easy one as well. You want to upload your logos, choose your company brand color. This company logo is the larger format logo that you want to use. And let's pull up. So this logo will show up on the emails that come out of the system to your customers. It'll show up on the login and the registration form that your customers will see when you're inviting them into the system. Now this company logo small is going to be what shows up in this upper right-hand corner on the dashboard. So we can choose the appropriate logo there, and you can crop it if you need to. I'm just going to leave this full size here. And then you can also choose the favicon. So let's choose a 16 by 16 pixel wide PNG. And okay, that step is checked off. And now you can see actually we've got that logo that we uploaded in the small section here and the favicon up in the browser tab there. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got left here. So we've got the custom footer links and the white label domain. So I'm going to do the custom footer links. Now, this is what you use to brand each of the websites that you create to give you some just additional visibility. When visitors are viewing the website, they're going to say, who shot this beautiful home? And your logo and link will be at the bottom of that template. So we'll just enable that here, and you can put whatever you like in there, and then you can put a link in there as well, and then we'll just upload the logo. And we have some style options, so we can do the light version or the dark version, and then we can have that logo on the left or the right of the text. So I'll move this to the right. That looks good.
Do you want to add a link? I don't see a link.
Sure, we'll add a link too. So this would be the link to your company website, because this footer now is going to link to be on the bottom of all of the templates that you create, and then that'll give a way for visitors to find out who you are. So we'll go ahead and save that. So you can see we have this account setup banner at the top. So we've got one more step left, and this is probably the most important step before you really get started with the platform. Now this is going to enable your white label domain. A white label domain is simply a subdomain that you create from your primary company URL. So if my company URL was that, relawldemo.com, we'll just choose a subdomain that we want to use to display all of the listings that we create in Rela. And then this will also be the domain that your customers will log into and or register on. So you want to put the subdomain along with the company URL in here.
Where did that come from? Listings.
So I can just choose whatever I want for the subdomain. It can be.
So you just simply made that up. That's
Yeah,
for the subdomain.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can make it up. Probably keep it in the context of real estate, obviously. So a lot of photographers either use sites tours listings but you can do whatever you want. So once you have that in here,
and before you hit save, I just want to ask the question, because if I didn't want to have a subdomain and I wanted to assign a domain specifically so that the tour became, let's say, relawidemo.com/123 Main Street, I could do that.
you can do that. What you'll want to do though is actually, so that would be a separate URL from your company's URL, right?
And would I do that on this screen?
Yeah, you could do that here, but your subdomain is actually going to be www.
Okay.
Now,
so
keep in mind, if this is your company URL, you do not want to use www, because then if people go there, they're not going to see your company website anymore, right?
Yes.
So if you're going to do a fully different domain than your company's normal URL, you can do that. And the subdomain is going to be www, and you'll follow the instructions that we provide in this help video here. But again, keep in mind, if you're going to do that, it can't be your primary company URL. Right?
Do you want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of each?
The pros really, and we recommend leaving it as a subdomain. The pros are going to be that you have that additional visual branding opportunity here when people are viewing this property website that is on this subdomain, or your customers are logging into your platform on that subdomain. There's some consistency that sticks, right? Because they'll see your primary company URL, and it would be easy enough for them to just go to that URL so they can get to your website. If you have a different domain name than your primary company domain, it may be a little confusing from the user experience side. So we do recommend just choosing a subdomain.
And just one last follow-up on the subdomain. In this example, listings, you mentioned it might be tours, whatever the photographer wants to use. Will this also help us in terms of SEO?
Absolutely. So that's another major benefit.
So that's really the key thing here is, if you were thinking for any reason of making up a separate domain name, don't, because you really want the SEO to point to your website.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, all of the websites that you create will automatically be visible on this subdomain, and that will earn you SEO points over time. So,
and if I wanted to have more than one white label domain, is that possible, or it's one?
It's not currently possible. We only have one white label domain. I can't think of a great reason why you would want to have different white label domains.
The only reason I can think of is if I had a client that said, I absolutely want it to be my domain, not your domain. Right.
So that's different than our white label domain, and I'll show you how that works in a second here.
Great.
So with the white label domain, you'll be able to view the property websites on that subdomain, but you also do have the option of adding a custom domain to each property on a property by property basis. So in a lot of cases, the agents aren't going to want to show this URL, but you can easily purchase a custom vanity domain from them.
So we might have 123mainstreet.com point to listings.rela
relawldemo.com.
Demo.com /123 Main Street.
But they would be the same URL essentially, and you can use both at the same time. If you purchase the domain from Rela, you don't have to worry about any setup for the property domain itself. We do it for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure that I have used my white label domain selected. I've got my subdomain and my primary company domain there. And one thing to note, we get this question sometimes. It does not cost any money to add a subdomain to a domain that you already own. If you own that domain, you can create as many subdomains from the registrar where you purchased that domain for free. So there's you just go into the registrar's dashboard and you can add the subdomain. It's also called a CNAME. They mean the same thing.
So okay. So I happen to be a marketing person, not a tech. So, and I would imagine there's a number of people that are like me, so not as sophisticated. So when it comes to the tech, so even though we're picking listings.com, Rela, WIDemo.com, I still need to go into our domain, and then what happens?
Right. So once you have this set, you can hit save, and you'll see that there's going to be instructions now on the screen that are going to show you the status of that subdomain.
Mm-hmm.
We provide a full walkthrough video here on this page that will show you how to set it up with your registrar. And these are the basic instructions. It's really adding one record to your domain DNS panel from your registrar. So your registrar is like GoDaddy or Namecheap or one of those, wherever you purchase the domain from. It's really quick and easy to do. And once you have this set, you don't have to do it again.
Okay, so maybe in this case, because there's probably some people like me as a hybrid, it says I have a tech that helps me with stuff like this. So I would need to say, okay, I've created this subdomain called listings, which is a record type CNAME.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I send an email to my tech and say, hey, just want to let you know I set up a subdomain. It's called listings. It's a CNAME record. Could you please update our DNS settings for our website? I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about, and the tech will go do what they need to do, and then we're done.
Yep.
And if I do this myself, then watch the white label demo help video, and I'll have to go back to whenever I set up my GoDaddy account or my WP Engine account or wherever I have my domain managed, and I'm going to follow some process that says, you've added a new record type. It's a CNAME. What's it called? Listings. And I need to complete that step.
Right. And this little indicator down here, the status, will tell you that whether or not the subdomain is set up correctly.
So in this case, you already have this subdomain set up, and therefore the status is reading okay.
Right. If it wasn't okay, it would be a gray circle, and it would say needs configuration. So one way you can check, even when you see that green circle, just to verify, when you go to that subdomain, listings.relawldemo.com, you should see your login screen, right, with the logo that we uploaded, our brand colors, and that's how you know it's working.
Terrific.
This is what the agents that you invite into their account will see when they log in. So, okay. So that is it for the white label setup. Really not a ton of steps and not super difficult, but pretty important to get set up before you start actually using this with your customers.
Yeah, I see it as tremendously helpful, this going these baby steps, taking me through this, because I think if I was trying to do this, I'd get stuck. Yet seeing you do it, I go, oh, well, that's not so hard. I get it. Okay.
Right. So once you've got this set up, it's time to create a sample property. So just pull up a sample domain here. Sorry, sample listing. So to get started on creating a property, you should see this add a property button at the top here. So really simple.
I'm sorry, I lost it. Where was it?
Up at the upper right-hand corner there.
It's hidden under my little window of you. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Add a property. Okay.
Great. So we'll.
In fact, let me just mention that, Mike, because for some of our viewers, they may have a little pop-up of you in the top right corner and can't actually see in the top right corner that it says add a property, and it's got a plus sign and a green button. So that's where you found that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So we did cover part of this in the previous video, but there are some important steps I want to share with everyone regarding inviting agents to the account so that they can access the dashboard. We'll talk about the differences between the levels of access and how you can set up display only versus backend access only. So let's click add a property. We'll enter the address in. Okay, so we'll just fill out some demo information here just so we can get through this process and hit save there. Now, when you're creating a property for the first time, before you invite the agent into the property, you probably want to get it set up just enough with the photos and some of the property details so that when they log in and they see it, it looks like it's semi-complete. So I'm going to go ahead and upload some photos here.
This is all cloud-based. You can use it on a Mac, a PC, whatever your workflow is for grabbing photos to drag or drop or to find the files.
Yep.
Just works. Okay.
Just works. Okay. We've got our photos here. Just a second. Get a little lag here.
Yeah, and I should say for the benefit of our audience, doing the magic of television with the internet and two sides, the things tend to run a little bit slower, and tends to be some latency. But otherwise, things, if you were doing this in front of your computer, you wouldn't be on a television show, and it would just run fast.
Yep. So we got the photos uploaded. Next step, let's just choose the theme here. And again, we're kind of doing the abbreviated property setup.
Last time we did the show with you, I believe you had 13 themes. What are you up to now?
We've got 2 more that we're releasing in the next 2 weeks, so we'll have 15 total.
Okay, so by the end of May 2018, there'll be a total of 15 themes. You simply selected one of the themes to keep us moving.
Yep. Okay, so this looks good. We've chosen our theme, and we'll head to the listing agent section. And so I'm a new account. I don't have any listing agents in my account yet, but you can do that directly from the listing agent side. So you won't see any agents in your agent library, but you can simply click create new account. Enter the information for the agent. Okay, so we've got our agent added to this property. Now I want to talk about some of the access settings that we have here. Right now, this agent would be considered full access because they are showing as a listing agent on the property website. That's what this show on property option means. And they also have edit access. So when you invite them to their account, they'll see this property in their dashboard and they'll be able to edit property details, download the photos, view the analytics, do everything that you can do essentially when editing and managing the property. Obviously, they can't see any listings that they're not assigned to, and they can't access any of the admin settings, which will be pretty clear when you're entering when you're editing this particular property. Now, for some reason you didn't want them to have access to this from their dashboard, you can uncheck edit access. The other nice feature here is if you, let's say, Mike has an assistant, and they should have edit access because they're doing the day-to-day management from the platform, looking at the leads and the analytics and doing some other tasks. You can actually check this show on property off. And so this would just allow this particular agent to view the property from their dashboard, but they wouldn't show up as a listing agent on the actual property website. So pretty handy if you have, again, assistants or marketing team managers for customers that you're working with. You can give them access to the dashboard for this property. So I'm just going to check him on. Great. So now once we've added the agents to the property, and you can add as many as you want to this list here, it's time to notify them that the property website's ready to go. Now, really easy to do. Just click this Notify Agents button. And this will give you an email template. Any of the agents that are listed here would show up in the Send To. So you can send this, all you have to do is send this once and it'll send to each of the agents listed. You can also add CC recipients for the agents listed if needed as well. You can see here we've got this email template that we provide by default. This is going to autofill all in the information in. So first name, the login link. It's important to leave these token items in place. Don't edit those because that, again, if you have multiple agents on this property, it's going to replace those for you automatically when we send the email. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Send Email. And so a couple of different options will happen here. If Mike agent has never logged into the platform, they'll receive the email that will have a link to verify their account, choose a password, and register. I'll show you what that looks like here. So when Mike receives that email in his inbox, he's going to see this registration form. It has the email that we have in his contact information in there already. They just need to verify their first and last name and choose a password. Now, let's say Mike is logged in and he's used the system and he's verified his account. Any emails that come out of the system when you're notifying agents will then include an auto login link. So when they receive that in their email, that link will log them into the dashboard and show them the property that you've notified them specifically. So that'll help cut down on agents not remembering their password a lot. If they're clicking on the links from the email, they should just be able to automatically log in. Okay. So we've got that set up. Let's go to the Manage Agent section so we can see from here what we can do to see if an agent's logged in. This last access option here, or this last access data point here, will show you when they've last logged in. So you can see that this agent hasn't registered or logged in yet. But you'll see once we actually do complete the registration.
So I can't see where you're typing, but I presume you're creating a new account?
I use the agent invite link here. And I'm just going to verify my account like we talked about as the agent.
Okay.
And so you can see I'm now in the agent account. I have the property that I was notified about on my dashboard. But I want to show you now on the admin side what that looks like. You can see they last accessed the platform 17 seconds ago, so we know that they got the link and they were able to register. So pretty straightforward, but let's say an agent for some reason can't log in or can't get back into the system. You can easily send them an email reset password here. So just from the actions drop down, you can send that, and then I'll send them the email. It'll allow them to update their password and log back in. So that's a common question that we get from photographers who are new to the platform, because agents will forget their password and they want them to reset it. So really simple to do. Just use this option here. Okay, so that's really pretty much it in terms of the important steps and the important components to understand and be familiar with when getting started. Getting your white label account set up, and then knowing how to notify agents that they have access or that you've completed a property for them. Pretty simple, huh?
Looks simple, straightforward to me. Thank you for taking us through I would describe as the onboarding process as a photographer to the Rela platform, and then how to add an agent, and then how to invite the agent.
Right.
And we're not going to expand on much else here because, again, watch WGAN-TV show with Mike in part 1. Mike went through at length a demo and discussion of using the platform. Today, we really just wanted to give you the onboarding piece of it. Mike, is there anything else on onboarding before we move on?
That's it for onboarding.
Terrific. You have some exciting news regarding creating print brochures.
Yeah, so we released the final or the official version of our new brochure tool. So I want to share that with everyone. It's a really handy tool, not only because you can create print-ready, high-resolution brochures, but now you also have the option to create your own templates and assign those to specific agents or make them available to all of your agents. And so we'll take a look and see what that.
Yeah, this is terrific. When I look at this, I just see dollar signs. To me, this says, client wanted a 3D tour, photos, a single property website. Great, I've delivered it to them. But now I have either an option to upsell flyers, brochures, postcards, social media, or to include it as part of my bundle, or some variable that brochures are included, but if you want postcards, that's an optional extra. So very exciting to just be teased that this is now commercially available. Can you take us through each of these pieces?
Yeah. So first, I'm going to show you the process of just creating a brochure. And then I'm going to show you the process of creating a custom template that you can use on other listings. And then I'm going to show you some options regarding controlling some of the workflow and the access that will help you manage kind of payment workflows and offering workflows that you're including with your packages. So let's get started. We'll create a multi-page brochure here. So all you do is click on the category and then take a look at which one you want to start with and click Create from Template. Now, what this is going to do is automatically fill this brochure with the information that you've already uploaded to the property website, photos, description, address, agent information. So you can come through here and change any of this, really. You'll notice that your logo graphic here probably isn't our agent's logo. This is the default logo from the template, but since we didn't upload a logo for the agent yet, nothing will populate here, so we leave this default graphic, but you can easily change that by uploading a logo from your computer. If you've uploaded logos to your account already, they would show up here. So just resize it to the appropriate size here. You can crop these images, you can resize them, move them around as much as you need to. And you can move anything that you see on the screen around the canvas, just kind of like Photoshop. And so you get through multiple pages here. Again, changing an image is super easy. Just click on it. We'll hit Change Image. That one looks nice. Go to the next page. So this all looks pretty good. You can actually pan and crop these images too. So if you double click on an image, you can move it within its frame. So maybe we want to move this to show the gate. And maybe we move this down a little bit to add some spacing. And let's change this logo again.
Had we added the agent logo at the time that we added the agent, would it have populated the logo on all 4 pages?
It would have, yes. Actually, if you have the logo showing on the property website, it will populate.
Populate it.
Yeah.
So is it pulling it from the property website, or is it pulling it from the agent info?
It's going to pull it from the property website.
Property website. Okay.
But if you go back and you assign a logo to an agent, that will automatically show up on the property website. So, if for some reason,
so you could save some steps when you add the agent, add the logo, it'll put it in the property website, and then when you get to the brochures and postcards, etc., it'll pre-populate that logo.
Correct.
Then in this case, which is a 4-page brochure, you have control over each page of the logo. Yep. So this one you might have the agent's logo. The next might say, it might be text, or it might be some other graphic.
Right. So you can use a different size logo, format logo on any other page if you want. Okay, so I mean, this was pretty quick. It pre-filled everything. This is using one of the templates that Rela provides. And you can print this out as a high resolution PDF. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. We also have the option for crop and bleed marks. So if you are going to send that to a professional printer, you can do that. And there it is.
And is that also available as a .png or other file formats?
It is. So you can download this as a PNG, or sorry, a JPEG.
JPEG.
You probably wouldn't want to do that if you're creating a flyer or a brochure. That's mainly for the social media posts. So for Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, so there's 2 outputs. If you're going to print it, or you're going to make it a downloadable file, PDF. I could imagine that there's a feature here to share this with the agent.
Yeah, so you can show this on the property, so it'd be available for download when you view it.
So I'm looking at the single property website, and there's a link to download the brochure.
Right.
Okay.
And then we'll take a look here in terms of some of the access settings. Once you've created this, you can allow the agent to do a multitude of things here. So if you wanted them to be able to edit this brochure that you've started for them, you can do that. If you wanted to allow them to download the finished brochure, you can do that too, but you can also disable all of that as well. Okay. So if you want
the print may be a little bit small. So if you're following along in WGAN-TV Live at 5, there we go. Your choice is to disable downloading, disable creating, editing, and disable Rela templates. Right. So you can share with your client as much or as little as you want. You may simply want them to be able to see it, but they got to talk to you about anything that they want changed.
Right. And so if you decide to disable downloading, when they click that download button, it would show a form that says, please request to download a copy of this. That'll send an email to you, and it'll also be indicated in your property dashboard that they've requested that. So again, just a tool to kind of help manage payment workflow.
Well, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, and if you tell me this comes up later, that's fine. But I could imagine disabling downloading, creating, editing, and disabling Rela templates, so that when I did invite a client, if I hadn't promised them a brochure, that they could see that there's a brochure and say, "Hey, I see that you did a brochure. How do I get that?" Is that kind of, we're going to talk about that later when you talk a little bit about your payment processing?
Yeah, we'll show that how that works in a minute here. So I want to show you the custom template option here. So again, anything on this page you can change. You can change the font size, the font, the colors. You can add shapes if you want. So super straightforward. I mean, if you're familiar with Photoshop, this will be really easy for you. You've got layers, so you can control the stacking order. You can lock layers, do everything. regarding that. Now, let's say that you like this template, but you wanted to customize it for as your own, right?
And I should add there, Mike, because I know that we have many members of the We Get Around Network Forum that didn't necessarily come to this world as a photographer. And so I think the great thing that we're seeing about Rela is this is all drag and drop, menu driven. You really don't need to understand Photoshop. If you do understand, you'll probably have an extra understanding of layers and locking, but truly, this is really designed for anyone to be able to create a professional looking brochure collateral quickly without having to spend a lot of time doing this.
Right. Yeah, that's the point. It's really just kind of drag and drop, point and click. What you see is what you get here. Nothing to it. So, okay. So let's say we like this template, but we want to modify it a bit and we want to reuse it on other properties. So what we can do is start designing this in a way that we think looks best, right? So maybe we'll change that to a dark footer, and we'll change all of this to light text. Oops. Okay, maybe we don't want this big image here, so we'll delete that page, and then maybe we like just a full length image on this page, right? So we've got this customized the way that we want, and we want to be able to reuse this on other listings. So all you need to do is click this Save as a Template. Now, this is going to tell you that the brochure that you've created is already saved, but if you intend to reuse this on other listings, go ahead and continue.
Love it.
We'll just give this a custom name. And your template's saved now. It's telling us that we need to tag the template. So this is really important and actually a really cool and easy to use feature. So I'm going to go to template tagging. And you can see from here, we're editing, we're going to edit this template. Specifically, we're going to add tags to this. So I'll show you what that looks like and what that means. So let's enable tagging mode. And we can click on any element on this screen and tell the system what that is. So this is a property image. This is a logo. This is the street address. So we can see here under property details, let's find street address. There it is, actually under it, there it is, address. Let's grab the city. We can highlight the state. So all I'm doing is highlighting each element here in the text and then selecting which tag it is over in this tagging options, right? And so you can see when we've got tagging mode enabled, we've got these indicators here as to what's been tagged and what that tag is. And you can hover over the text to see what that tag is as well, right? So we'll go to the next page. Let's enable tagging mode again. Super quick and easy. Those are all property images. This is the property description. We got one last page here. Turn tagging mode on. Property image. This is the agent headshot. This is the agent name. Company here. So you go through and tag each one of these. So for the beds, bath, square footage, and price, you actually just grab the actual value here. So you just highlight that 3, and that's the beds. You want to leave any of the prefixes or the suffix in place because we're really just going to replace that value.
Okay, I know this is going to make sense in a moment, and I think it's going to be a powerful aha moment.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the square footage, and then this is the price. description there, and let's just finish the agent tagging. So that's the phone number and then the agent's website. One more, we've got the logo. Okay, so we're done with tagging. Now, once we go back to our brochures option, you'll see under custom templates, that template that we just created. And this will be available on all of the other properties that you create on Rela. And since we've tagged it, it will autofill all of those elements with the property specific information and photos.
Whoa. Okay. That was the aha moment. That was like, whoa, that's amazing.
Yep.
Very exciting.
So let's take a look and see what we can do to control some access to this. So
yeah, and that was just an incredible time saver, because if you have a standard postcard brochure, social media for one agent that likes a certain format, now that you've saved it, every time you do a listing for that agent again, it's going to be exactly the same. It's just you've dynamically merged the fields into the template.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. Wow.
So let's say we made this specifically for a Coldwell Banker agent, and this is their branding, and we only wanted them to have it. We can click this Assign to Agents option at the top while we're editing this template. Search for any of our agents in our account, and just click on the agent from the list. You can add any number of agents to the assignment here, or you can make available to all agents. So if you wanted all of the agents in your account to be able to access this custom brochure, you can do that. So let's leave it assigned to Mike agent there. And now I'm going to pull up the dashboard that Mike sees. And you can see under custom templates, the custom template provided by PhotoGo. And so since we assigned it to him, only this customer will be able to access this template.
And where is Rela mentioned anywhere on this page that the agent can see?
So Rela is not going to be mentioned no matter what, but these are the templates up here that Rela provides. So if you didn't, for some reason, want them to see those, we can go back into our brochures dashboard and check the disable Rela templates. So I'm just going to hit save there. And so now when they get to this brochure section.
Though I kind of want them to see all of the options so that they say, hey, I'd like some postcards.
Yep.
What do you charge? But I think the point is here that this is white label. It's relahq.com if you want to check out the site, relahq.com. But since this is the photographer's version, it's white labeled. There's no mention of Rela. Even when the client is looking at the view, it's only your company name as the photographer.
Yeah, even if you didn't have this disabled Rela templates option checked, they're still not going to see Rela. They won't know that these brochures were made by Rela. It's just more of a way to control, expectations at some level. If you are controlling what you're going to provide to your customer, and you don't necessarily want to give them a ton of options to choose from, because that can be a bad thing sometimes, and you want to give them what you've provided and what you've created, you have the option to do that. If you don't, if you don't mind having a ton of options for the agent to choose from, and maybe they come in here as a part of your package, they're able to create their own brochures really easily, then you can leave that unchecked and they can access any of the templates that we have in our library. Yeah. Again, they'll never see anything related to Rela. In these templates, it's all still white labeled. So.
Yeah, and for the photographer may choose to enable a client to design their own, create their own, or can't do that at all, can only take what it is you've delivered, maybe edit, not edit. So I think the point of this, if you want to offer the client soup to nuts or just soup or just nuts, you can offer just the piece. You have the flexibility just to offer what it is that you want to offer that client, which may be different from your other clients.
Right, exactly. So that's the new flyer tool. I suggest everyone take a look at it. It's really going to make your life easy in terms of that time saver and workflow.
Can you call up postcards? Excuse me, I just love to see the postcards too.
So again, we just officially relaunched this this week. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be adding a ton more templates to each of these categories here. So let's take a look at this one. So we've got our front and our back. You can see this pre-filled with all of that information here. So
terrific. And then could you take us into the social media? I'd love to see what that is.
Yeah, so the social media right now, we have a couple different Instagram templates. We'll be adding some more Facebook templates this week, and actually some more Instagram templates this week as well. So these are just to get you started here. So this one specifically for the Instagram and for the Facebook is what you would want to download as a JPEG. So then you can use that to post to your social media.
Terrific.
There it is.
And the difference between the flyer and the brochure?
The flyers are going to be one page.
One page, one side?
One page, yeah, one page, one side. But it's actually really easy. So if we created this, this flyer from that template, you can add multiple pages to this, no problem.
Yeah,
it's just,
okay.
Those categories are kind of just giving you a quick way to find, context-specific templates there. So, yeah, so you could easily create a front and back to a flyer if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We also offer different size options too. So if you wanted to do, an 11 by 17, or the square options, you can do that too. So
terrific. Easy. And I, Mike, you promised we'd take a look at a little bit about your payment engine as it related to say, would you like that brochure? Okay, great. Now what?
So that actually isn't released yet. the payment part of it. We've got that scheduled coming up soon. I know last time we talked, it was around this time, but we need a little bit of extra time here, and yeah, we'll have it in the next 6 to 8 weeks now. So but when that's ready to go, yeah, you will be able to determine whether or not you want to force payment before a customer can download that particular.
So let's call that by July 1st, 2018.
Yep.
And I imagine that you have some of your staff in earshot that are cringing right now because we just gave them a date. But we for the purpose of just some planning and anticipation, we'll think they're shooting for, Rela is shooting for around July 1st, 2018.
Right. And so that just of course, isn't just limited to the brochures. It's it'll give you control over every asset download workflow or access point to the system. So,
but I would imagine, Mike, I would imagine that if you've promised the clients a single property website with photo, video, map, 3D tour, but you've over-delivered some brochures that they can see, that they could literally say, I'd like that brochure. There'd be a price associated with it, and they could buy it without even talking to me.
Right.
Is that the vision of where you're going?
Yeah. So you'll have a lot of flexibility, just kind of like we have a lot of fine-grained flexibility here in terms of them creating, editing, downloading, viewing which templates. You'll be able to control kind of every access point with some type of payment workflow built in if you want. So if you wanted to allow agents to build their own brochures and that was a specific price and they can unlock that for this property, you could do that. Or if you're going to create the brochure and make it available, they can download it after payment from there. So a lot of flexibility. I
love that. Very exciting. What else did you want to show us today?
I think that's it.
Let's head on over to your photographer's page. Do you want me to call that up? Do you want to head? I want to go to the pricing page. So okay. We talk a little bit about pricing, and then we'll talk a little bit about 2 special offers that we have for our viewers.
Okay.
If you want, I'll call up the page. Just undo the screen share at the top. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay, so the pricing for photographers is $99 a month. With that pricing, though, we give you 6 additional credits each month. You can purchase those for as low as $10 each, and one credit equals 1 property website. You get the white label license, you've got unlimited agents that you can add to your account, and then you've got all of the other features that we currently have and will be releasing in the future. That also gives you free media delivery. So I think we talked about that on the first
show. Yeah.
On the first show, right? So, in case you want to upload the photos, but the agent doesn't necessarily think they want the website right away, you can tag that property as media delivery only, and we don't subtract credit from you, but the agent can still log in, download the photos, and then you, again, have some upsell opportunity because they can actually see the website when they're logged in. So they take a look, they say, oh, I really love this, and then they can notify you that they actually want to publish it. So you get all of that included with the $99 a month fee.
Great. And I think I wanted to point out here, correct me if I'm wrong, $99 per month. You mentioned it comes each month with 6 free credits, each credit being a single property, good for a single property website. If you don't use your credits in a month, they roll over to the next month.
Right. So any credits that you purchase will always roll over. If you're doing more than 6 properties a month and you're using those credits up, you can purchase additional credits at any time. So if you purchased, 250 credits today, they would never expire. You can use them throughout the year as needed. So,
and in our last show, I think we went through the more credits you buy, the lower the cost.
Yep.
Which varied between $10 to $15, depending on how many credits that you bought at a time.
Correct.
So if you, yeah, I guess that's the short of it is because the question comes up, well, I use 6, I need more, how much? And the short answer, it's going to cost you $10 to $15 for each additional single property website based on the volume of credits that you purchase at any one time.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then unless you wanted to show us something here, let's take it off screen share. Or you wanted to show us something here?
Nope. Good to go here.
Take it off screen share. Excuse me. So, Mike, that's terrific. I think we talked about at the top of the show, we had 2 special offers, for the community. I wanted to take our members through them and correct me if I'm wrong. The first is typically there's a 7-day free trial, no credit card required. Rela has offered for We Get Around Network Forum members a 14-day free trial instead of 7 days. And so if you want to get a 14-day trial instead of 7 days, simply join the We Get Around Network Forum. It's free, and you will automatically get a welcome email from me, and it includes nearly 24 special offers simply by joining the free We Get Around Network Forum, including a special link and promo code for you to get 14 free days and 14 free day trial instead of 7-day trial. No credit card required. Anything else on that one?
Nope, that's it.
Got that correct?
Yep.
And then the second is I talked at the top of the show about how do you get 6 months, the free use of for 6 months of the Rela photographer version. So if you are a We Get Around Network standard or premium member, you can get the free use of the full robust photography package that you've seen in the part 1 episode that we've previously recorded with Mike, as well as today. So you get the free use of the robust photography version. It includes 6 credits or 6 property websites. So 6 months, 6 property websites. And then anytime during that 6 months that you decide that you want to upgrade to the photographer version that we just took you through that Mike just took you through in terms of pricing, you'll get an additional 6 free credits for creating single property websites. So it's kind of 6, 6, and 6. Free use for 6 months, comes with 6 property websites, and as a bonus, if you decide at any time to switch to the $99 a month plan, then you'll also get 6 more free credits loaded to your account. And Mike, I thought it might be helpful if we talked a little bit about why we're making this offer and what our expectation perhaps was for you or We Get Around, of why we wanted to give professional photographers a 6-month runway to feel like they can get up to speed and get to the point where they see this as a profit center rather than an additional expense, perhaps. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so with the 6-month extended trial and the 6 free credits with this special offer, the goal really is to allow not only new professionals who are just coming into the industry to give this a try and maybe use it to help build their business over the course of that time, but also experienced professionals who are using other platforms and needing to decide whether or not they want to make the switch, and having enough time just to evaluate the tools, run it by some of their customers to see what the feedback is, and really just, again, having enough time to make sure that it's going to work for them. So we're going to give 6 months with 6 credits, no credit card required during that time. And like you said, if you're happy with the platform and you want to continue using it, or if you want to upgrade at any time during that 6-month trial period, you can do that, and we'll give you another 6 credits to start working with. So
yeah, that's terrific. And so we're going to kick this off on Monday, May 14th, 2018 for We Get Around Network Standard and Premium members. You'll be able to go to your Welcome on Board letter, and you'll see this special offer for We Get Around Network Standard and Premium members. We'll have a We Get Around Rela promo code request form, and when you complete that form, we'll automatically get you the appropriate link, promo code, etc., so that you can take advantage of that offer. And again, I've been speaking with Mike prior, to the program, and what we, to come up with this special offer between our 2 organizations, because we really feel like if 14 days, we'd like to think that 7 days is enough time to play with the photographer platform and make a decision, or even 14 days. But I could imagine that there really, as you said, 2 kinds of photographers, maybe 3 kinds. One, you're new to the business. You really like what you're seeing today. You want to be able to offer it to your clients. On the other hand, you know that you need to be making more money as a result of offering this solution. And so you have a 6-month runway, essentially, not only to learn and feel comfortable with the platform, with the Rela platform, but also making business, getting more money, differentiating yourself perhaps from other photographers, but also to see that you can have some success in even if it's just selling postcards and brochures, which may be way more money, and then you're using Rela to make more money, and then it'll make sense for you to pay $99 a month. And then I think, as you pointed out, Mike, is that some of the members may be using other platforms or even no platform. There's a lot of photographers that just deliver assets separately. That's frightening. If you're delivering photos, videos, aerial, floor plans, etc., and you're just delivering all these assets separately to your client, and you're expecting your client to put all this stuff together, you really are missing an opportunity, because if you're not delivering a property website today, you're going to be in trouble tomorrow, because every one of your competitors is going to be offering a property website of some sort. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to work with a property website for a relatively, I think, a long window, 6 months, both to feel comfortable and also to be getting new business, making more money by whether it's offering brochures or something else. And then anytime within that 6-month window, you can say, okay, I'm ready to move to the $99 a month. And you say, well, why wouldn't I just keep the 6 months for, at no charge? Well, it just comes with 6 free property websites. So when you get to the 7th, you really need to convert to the full flavored plan. And hopefully by that time, you figured out how to make more money, how to get more business, and at the same time differentiate yourself. Probably overstood, but anything to add to that, Mike?
Said it perfectly.
I'm not sure that I did. I'm not sure I said it perfectly, but I'm going to try and sum it up because I just think it is absolutely so important. If you are a We Get Around Network standard or premium member, what we've just announced is the free use of Rela, the photography version, the full-blown version, with 6 free credits for 6 months. And if you decide at any point during the 6 months, then you simply will upgrade your account to the $99 a month, and you'll get bonused another 6 credits. That's simply for being a We Get Around Network standard and premium member. I thank you. And if you're not a member, time to join. 40 plus membership benefits, including what you just heard, www.joinstandard.com. www.joinstandard.com. Mike, I thoroughly enjoyed visiting with you again. And is there anything else that we should cover before we take off?
I think that's it for now. We've got some exciting stuff planned here in the next couple of months. So we'll definitely notify forum members on the forum as those features are released, but really still all centered around, increasing the efficiency for photographers and their workflows and finding new ways to help them generate revenue off of the photos that they're shooting and the scans that they're producing. So
terrific. And your website again is
www.relahq.com.
RELAHQ.com.
That's it.
Mike, thank you so much for visiting today. So much appreciated. Very exciting to see what you're doing.
Definitely. Thanks for having us again.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you missed any portion of today's show, we have recorded it. By tomorrow, Wednesday, May 9th, 2018, we'll place it in the We Get Around Network Forum. If you happen to be watching the show today on our YouTube channel, to get to We Get Around Network Forum, simply type in WeGetAroundNetworkForum.com. Thanks again to Rela CEO Mike Land, and I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum for WGAN-TV Live at 5. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
And let me just end our recording on YouTube. That'll just take me another second.